we're acquiring acceptance and collecting katanas. That's right, it's Samurai Jack Back to the Past from Project Raygun. This noble and nimble adventure pits 2 to 5 of Jack's allies in a race for Jack's sanity and honor. In Samurai Jack, players travel along a hexagonal path of repeating locations, gathering allies, traits, and weapons in the form of support cards. The game is divided into 3 rounds, each of which ends in a boss fight, where players may turn in their support cards for honor points. At the end of the 3rd round, if Jack hasn't gone insane, the player with the highest honor wins. Setup begins with the game board placed center. Shuffle the support card deck and deal a number of cards to each of the 5 location spaces according to the number of players. These are the cards available for players to acquire in the first round of play. Next, shuffle the Jack Aku movement cards and place the deck on the bottom left of the board. Place the Jack token on the sanity meter depending on the number of players. Should Jack's token reach the red spaces, the players lose a support card at random. Should the token reach the Aku space, all players lose the game. Shuffle the 3 sets of 5 tiles separately and deal them face up in a path like so. Take a random non-Aku villain card and place it at the end of the path. Each player selects a character by taking the matching mini, character card, and set of 5 movement cards, each with a location on their face-up side. Randomly determine a starting order for the players and line up their minis at the other end of the path, along with the Jack and Aku minis. Then they battle. They battle to the death. Gameplay occurs over 3 rounds, each divided into turns, and each turn divided into phases. The phases include Advanced Jack, by revealing and discarding the top card of the Jack Aku movement deck and placing Jack's mini on the first available location of that type. Jack should be placed on the first available space on that location, and in future rounds, if a player's mini is already there, move Jack's token back 1 space on that old sanity meter. Players move by choosing a movement card from their hand and placing it face down in front of them. All players then flip their cards simultaneously, and starting with the player furthest back on the path, players take turns moving their minis to unoccupied spaces in the nearest locations matching their flipped card. Once played, that card stays face up on the table. When playing a movement card that matches their character card, the player may reclaim all movement cards back to their hand. If a player tries to move to a location that has no unoccupied spaces remaining, they go to the next available space on the path. Aku moves after all players have moved. Draw and reveal another Jack Aku movement card and move Aku to the first available space on the path matching that location type. Resolve actions occurs after all minis have moved for the turn. Starting with the character furthest along the path, players resolve the action based on their location. Generally, players collect 1 support card from the available cards on that location of the game board. However, if Jack is in the same location, the character automatically gains 1 honor point from their buddy Jack and may optionally draw from the support card deck instead if they don't like the available options on the board. If Aku is in the same location as a player, however, that character does not gain a support card this round. Additionally, their movement selection next round will be based on a draw from the Jack Aku movement deck, as Aku flings the character through a portal. Lastly, if Aku and Jack share a location, move Jack's token 1 space on the sanity meter, cause he drives them insane, you know? As players move and resolve actions, they can acquire 3 types of support cards: allies, traits, and weapons. Each villain at the end of the path includes a set of support card symbols matching these types. When players fight the villains, they can discard these cards to earn honor points. Turns continue until all the minis arrive at the end of the path. If a player plays a movement card that doesn't exist ahead of them on the path, they advance to the villain instead. When advancing, they may move their mini to any of the open honor point spaces, provided they have the support cards to match the symbols indicated. When doing so, they discard the support cards and gain honor points from the space. Additionally, if any of these cards include their character on the top left, they score an additional 2 honor points. If a character arrives at the villain and cannot enter an honor space, either due to it being occupied or if they don't have enough support cards, their mini may be placed alongside the villain card. Jack and Aku can also advance to the villain card, but Jack just goes to the side, and Aku always takes the lowest scoring space allowed in the game. Note that some spaces are unavailable for games that don't have enough players. You can't use those ones. Once all players have reached the villain and either gained honor by discarding some support cards, or totally missed out and saved their cards, the next round begins. Shuffle and redeal the path and select a new villain card. Replace the support cards on locations with a new collection and reset all played movement cards back to their owner's hands. Order character minis from highest to lowest scoring from the previous round to determine movement order in the first turn. Play continues until the third and final round, where players face off against Aku and one of his mini forms. His villain card is played just like other villains, but his requirements are a bit higher, and so are his rewards. At the end of the third round, players can discard unused support cards for 1 honor each. Then count the collected honor totals, and the highest score wins. And that's Samurai Jack. I'm Becca Scott, and I too am an ancient warrior flung through space-time to this strange future world. You're welcome. You can watch me and my friends play this game and other awesome games on Game the Game, right here on Geek and Sundry. We'll see you there.